It needed work, but don't we all? When the single-story house with a pool in San Diego's Carmel Valley came up for sale, a lot of families wanted it. Married couple Jerry Rice and Janice Reuter got it.
It's the dream of so many people, a home to call your own. But what if your dream house is somebody else's dream too, about to turn your home sweet home into a nightmare?
That is exactly what happened to young couple Jerry and Janice. With a young child and a baby on the way, little pranks at first, but then real danger. Strangers showing up, someone out for revenge against them, playing real estate roulette with their lives.
Owning a house. It is the dream. Partly because it's literally in my dreams I will own one, and partly because it's so expensive and therefore difficult to get on the housing ladder these days. I'll spare you the "it was this % easier back in this year" because we have all heard it enough, but what I want you to keep in mind is just how difficult it is. So when married couple Jerry and Janice were successful in getting their dream home in what was to them the perfect neighbourhood in the burbs of San Diego, outbidding 7 other families in the process, it's safe to say they were elated. With a baby girl on the way and a son already, this was the foundation their family needed, and they were ready to settle down. But the dream would quickly become a nightmare, because soon after the purchase, some strange things started to happen. Things started off innocently. You could even say they got an offer they couldn't refuse. First off, Jerry found a letter addressed to him in which the sender offered him a whole $100,000 more than what he paid for the house in order to purchase it. Not a terrible thing to receive, but this would be the first and last somewhat reasonable thing that they did receive. Because Jerry said he didn't think much of it and quickly forgot about it, getting back to being a father and a husband whose wife is currently pregnant. Next, Jerry phoned the agent who sold them the house, furious because he had found the house relisted online. Thinking the housing agent had something to do with it, he was just as shocked as Jerry to hear about this. But who was trying to mess with them so badly? The harassment continued. They received weird subscriptions for magazines in the mail, including thousands of dollars in bills for adult diapers. Somehow, the couple's mail was stopped during Christmas, and to add insult to injury, an advert was placed online advertising a New Year's Eve party at the family home. A bit later on Valentine's Day, someone sent every woman on the block a romantic card from Jerry, trying to turn the neighbours against them. This culminated in one of the women's husbands confronting Jerry, demanding an explanation. That's when Jerry and Janice contacted the authorities. A police officer was concerned for the family, saying something to the effect of, "Whoever it is, they are probably sick and watching you." Jerry recalls that this sent chills down his spine. But the worst part is yet to come. It goes from annoying and slightly dangerous to extreme and unthinkable. So, I'm not saying what has already happened isn't really bad, but what comes next is truly shocking, with the most unlikeliest of saving grace. Police warned the couple that their stalker posted an ad with Janice's picture looking to engage in sexual relationships with random men. They featured Janice's photo, and the stalker didn't stop there. Off of the fake accounts posing as Janice, Direct messages were sent to interested men asking for them to come to the home through the day while Jerry would be at work to have a sexual liaison. But a fantasy where she can pretend that they broke in and she can refuse. The stalker was trying to get Janice raped. When the man asked for the address, it was given to him. A few weeks later, the same man replied to ask if she was still available. The reply was something to the effect of, "Come anytime you like." This was not a joke. This was no longer a game. This person was trying to orchestrate the rape of another human being. What makes it even worse, the man actually turned up at the house, but then sent an email letting her know that he went to the family home, but the gate was locked, and he couldn't knock on the door and use the doorbell. That's right, the gate was her saving grace. Please close and lock your gates at night. The reply offers encouragement and reads, "I will make it extra wild and worth your time," goading the man to come back. So later, the man returned again to the family home, but this time luckily Jerry was home. The man, in an email, said that he made an excuse for why he was there and left, because Jerry had actually caught him. The reply from the fake account told the man that her husband would sometimes drop by during the day to catch her in the act, but that he won't intrude in on us unless we want him to, clearly willing to stop at nothing until this actually happens. But thankfully, we only know all of this because the lady responsible has been caught.
Right? Catch, the high-tech law enforcement task force, connected the dots between those sexed-up online solicitations in Janice's name and Kathy Rowe's computer.
We identified Miss Rowe through search warrants to Yahoo, and then that led to the identification of the residence.
The Heat paid Kathy Rowe a visit. Eventually, she admitted to it all. Initially, she faced the possibility of 9 years in prison after many months of legal wrangling and a new life as a media sensation.
Kathy Rowe seemed
a major fall from grace.
She copped a plea to felony stalking and apologized to the Rices.
All the things that I've put them through, the stress, the lack of privacy, I'm just very sorry.
I think that you said that you didn't want to hurt them. I think that's exactly what you wanted to do, was to hurt them for buying the house that you wanted.
One time, San Diego's top 50 Mother of the Year honoree Kathy Rowe is an unlikely candidate for such a vicious and aggressive harassment campaign that lasted the best part of a year. The 53-year-old, who is a mother herself to a daughter, is happily married and works a decent, well-paying job. She's made a couple of appearances on telly since the ordeal where she explains her motives. I'll leave clips to the full interviews, but here are some of the spicier bits. There were so many things needing my help and my attention, I just became exhausted. I was working full time and then doing my husband's work at night and dealing with my daughter who had very severe school issues. And then my best friend became sick and her disabled son needed care. So I was literally like running myself ragged and trying to exist on 2 hours sleep, and it unfortunately affected my thinking. I thought I could cope with it and deal with it. I didn't realise how poorly I was dealing with it until all of this happened. I was jealous, I was destroyed and devastated with pain and depression. End quote. She confessed that it all started over being outbid on the house, proclaiming the house felt like hers when she first saw it. She said she didn't want to hurt anyone, but just mess with them, annoy and embarrass them like that is any better. Rowe's attorney, Brad Patton, said that the stress over caring for her ill husband and severely disabled teenage daughter caused Rowe to behave this way. Patton said Rowe did not intend any harm to anyone. Regardless, the couple say they are still living in fear.
Was sentenced to 1 year of confinement on a home ankle monitor and 5 years of probation.
She actually is going to be watched a lot longer than she would have
if she serves some jail time.
Kathy continues to have the responsibility for her daughter. Her daughter has maybe 100 to 150 medical appointments on an annual basis. Kathy has lost her job. She is the only person holding this family together at this point in time.
I may be the least liked person in San Diego County. A horrible, evil person who wanted to harm this nice couple. And
In what way is that incorrect?
I did not intend to harm them.
Apologies aside, Janice and Jerry are still afraid.
I believe that Miss Rowe continues to be a dangerous person because of her skills of manipulation and her ability to lie.
You know, I kind of think she has more of a reason now to attack us. So, obviously, you know, we're very concerned for the family.
Oh, and speaking of families, Kathy Rowe bought a new home for her family, just 1 mile away from Jerry and Janice's place.
Kathy pleaded guilty in February to stalking, and a judge ordered her to stay away from Jerry and Janice for 10 years. She was also sentenced to 1 year of home electronic surveillance and 5 years probation. Alarmingly, there is no charge for trying to get Janice raped, although I'm sure the sentence is supposed to reflect the seriousness of the stalking charge. It's thought that the judge spared her from jail time due to her being the sole caregiver to her disabled daughter and then sick husband and lack of a criminal background. But Kathy also promptly lost her job as the story hit the national news. Kathy is now infamous in San Diego. The once winner of the Best Mum Award has had quite the fall from grace. I think there is something so relatable in this story. I think to some extent this would be just about everybody's worst nightmare. The home is somewhere we feel safe and comfortable. Someone intruding and infringing on your privacy can be a huge hit mentally. I hope the family can get to a point where they feel safe again in their home. They seem like decent people who did nothing at all wrong. Thank you for watching. If you like this choice of story, let me know in the comments or leave a like. It lets YouTube know that we are here and it really makes my day, honestly. But more videos coming soon, so stay tuned. Stay safe out there, everybody. Peace.